Welcome to my channel, FS Tech Lab. In today's video we will set up a child domain controller on Windows Server 2019. Before we begin the setup, decide domain name, decide the static IP address to be assigned to the server. The IP subnet must be same as of the primary domain controller. Decide the host name of the server. Keep handy domain admin ID credentials. Install Windows Server 2019 Standard or Data Center Edition as per your requirement. Power on the server. Before we begin the child domain controller installation, let's check the existing setup. We already have set up a domain fstechlab.local on a primary domain controller and on OS Windows Server 2019. This is the secondary domain controller in the same domain. Here we have the new server for child domain controller with default host name and in workgroup domain. Let's begin our setup. Change the IP address from local server section in Server Manager console. Set the IP address as decided earlier. Here the primary DNS will be same as the IP address of the child domain controller. The secondary DNS will be the IP address of the primary domain controller. In addition to this, we will need to add the IP address of secondary domain controller. This can be added from advanced settings. Click OK. Click OK. Click Close. Click on the computer name. Click Change. Type in the hostname decided earlier. Click OK. Click OK again and close. Select Restart now. Click Add Roles and Features in Server Manager. Click Next until you get Destination Server page. On Destination Server page, verify that child domain controller name is selected and click Next. Check the box before Active Directory Domain Services and click Add Features on the prompt. Now check the box before DNS Server and click Add Features on the prompt. Click Next. Click Next on Features page as well. Click Next on ADDS and DNS server page. Click Install on the confirmation page to start the role installation. After installation is completed, click Promote this server to a domain controller. The AD configuration wizard will appear. As this is the child domain controller, change the selection to add a new domain controller to an existing forest. Make sure Select Domain Type is set to Child Domain. Click on Select next to Parent Domain Name. Type in the domain admin credentials. Click OK. Select the parent domain name and click OK. Type in the child domain name. Make sure the credentials that username format appears below supply credentials. Click Next. In the site name drop-down, select the site name in which you want to deploy the server. As we have only one site that is default first site name, we will select it. Type in the DSRM password. DSRM password can be same or different for each domain controller. Click Next. Click Next. On Additional Options page, the NetBIOS name will appear. Click Next. The paths for Active Directory database, log files and sysvol folder will be listed. In production, you change path for each folder. Click Next. The wizard will list the options selected in the previous pages. Check the option thoroughly and click Next. The wizard will verify the prerequisites before setting up the Active Directory domain server. Once all prerequisites checks are completed, the wizard will show the confirmation page. Click Install. The wizard will start the AD configuration. After AD configuration is completed, the server will be restarted. Click Close to reboot the server. Press Ctrl-Alt-Delete to log into the screen. The server is now promoted to a domain controller, and you can see that domain name with username is displayed. Type in the password and press Enter. Here we can see the host name of the server, and the server is added to the domain. The users and computers in Active Directory Domain Controller are managed through Active Directory Users and Computers console. The console will display the details of child domain controller. Let's switch to our primary domain controller to verify the same. Here you can see the parent domain name in the forest. Let's switch to our child domain controller. The OU and users in both the domains are different, as child domain is configured as a separate domain under parent domain. Lock this computer. Here you can see that the domain name is child, and if we go to the parent domain, lock this computer. Here you can see that the domain name is FS Tech Lab. In the child domain controller, when we try finding users, you can see that both the domain that is parent domain and the child domain is listed. If we click Browse, you can see that child domain is listed under FS Tech Lab domain. Here FS Tech Lab domain is the parent domain and child is the child domain. The setup is now completed on the child domain controller. That's it for today. Let's meet in next video. Thank you for watching. Do like, subscribe and press the bell icon for latest videos.